Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the Yellowbird Hotline podcast, the podcast where your favorite hot sauce company answers your questions, whether you want us to or not. You do want us to. That's why you called us.
Buckle up.
You can get your questions answered on the podcast by calling or texting 855-700-BIRD. That's 855-700-BIRD. We got a super chill episode for you guys today. No guests today. I feel like we've had a lot of guests recently, but Kelsey, you can be our guest today.
Welcome, Kelsey.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
Good to have you here.
honored to be here again for the 40th time. So I'm glad that my presence is finally being treated as it should.
Did you get your gift basket?
Oh, no.
Because we sent it. Yeah.
It was basically just tiny bottles of water, like really depressingly small bottles.
I feel like
of
that's
water.
too soon.
The really tiny bottles of water you get on the airplane in first class?
Yeah.
Smaller
No,
than
I
that.
haven't been on an
smaller than
airplane in 3 years, so no.
Oh yeah. We all remember airplanes, right? Are we sure that airplanes existed?
Well, dude, they're in the news.
Honestly, no.
They're falling from the sky in Denver.
That's true.
Oh
That's
god,
true.
yeah.
You know how
know
many
that-
times I've fallen asleep on a plane and then been like, they could have just driven this anywhere. And you just get out and they're like, you're in New York, and you're like, are you?
And you're like, drove it.
And you go in the airport and they have I Heart New York t-shirts, and you're like, well, it's kind of suspicious if we were actually in
A
Colorado.
little on the nose,
I'll
right?
accept.
Yeah.
I got on a plane one time and fell asleep, and I woke up, and the gift shop had a potato shirt with a Darth Vader helmet on it, and it says Darth Tater. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Boise, Idaho. Cool.
Instantly knew.
I don't think I've ever fallen asleep on a plane.
You should try it.
I hate flying, so my brain is always like in constant like, is the plane going down now? How about now? What about now? Is it now? What can I do about it? Is there something I can do? What should I be doing?
Dude, you're prepared. Like, you work out all the time, so like if something happens,
Yeah,
you can just
tell.
punch out a window and just stick your pythons out there, and you can be the secondary set of wings, and you can guide the plane down.
Oh, yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan tell a story about doing that one time, so I figure
I
it
feel like
must be
that'll
real.
work. Yeah.
It's real.
Actually, what Wind Beneath My Wings was written about, it was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Bette Midler, if you're listening, we've got you figured out.
Bette Midler, I actually diving through the data on our podcast data app.
Nailed it.
Bette Midler is 100% listening. I've cracked her IP address. Are these words? do these
You
words
are a
mean-
hacker, George.
I've been using AI
I've
to
been-
run
yeah.
a script. and
Yeah, I think
run
a
it.
lot of people are trying to hack into Bette Midler's, voice
API.
recordings just to hear
Hack
what
her
she has in it.
API. Wait.
That's right. You got to get
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to like really lean into the air quotes like vocally because they
Hack the API.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I think that came across. Yeah,
Okay,
people
yeah,
get it
that-
now.
Okay.
Okay, well, the Yellowbird podcast, what we do here is we listen to voicemails that people leave for us by calling that number. And we have one voicemail to talk about today. And I'm really excited to get everybody's specific knowledge on this non-hot sauce at all related question. So let's go ahead and queue up our listener question of the day. Choo, 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 choo.
All right, so hermit crabs, right? Like, does a larger hermit crab shell notate a higher social status within the hermit crab community, or are you just simply a larger crab? If it's the first one, what would like a 4-bedroom on the beach mansion kind of a shell look like?
All right.
Yeah.
This is a good question. I would
Dude.
say maybe even a great question.
You know what? Who's who in my high school? I didn't get voted for much, but unofficial who's who, I did get voted most marine biological. So I feel no, that's
Wow.
made up. No, yeah.
Weren't you in a landlocked state?
No, dude. Alabama had the
Alabama
Gulf Coast,
coast.
man.
It has
Yeah.
cost.
Oh, I forgot where
Yeah,
you
dude.
lived.
That's okay.
I forgot that I don't care about your background.
Well,
Yeah, remind me who you are again.
I used to collect as many hermit crabs,
Crabs.
crabs,
Stonks.
as many hermit crabs as I could in Galveston. and I brought a lot of them home and they died.
No.
But yeah, they're fun friends for while you have them alive.
So
So,
can we do a
out
little?
of-
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, out of all of us, who has actually personally owned a hermit crab? Because I was an aspiring hermit crab owner.
We,
but I
we
never
had
got
one in my classroom in second grade. So I've got
Ooh.
I've got some hermit crab factoids thanks to
Yeah.
Miss Efferson.
Yeah.
Should I start?
Yeah, well, I've never like owned a hermit crab. I always kind of like liked playing with them or like chasing them at the beach,
And then throw them back into the water.
well, I just kind of left them. I just kind of left them to live their lives.
I always thought it was funny when in Galveston there's all these like tourist shops and they would have the painted hermit crab shells, and I just thought it was hilarious that somebody would just sit there and make that their job to paint hermit crab shells.
But isn't like a hermit crab shell kind of like a misnomer, right? Because like hermit crabs
They
don't even make
outgrow.
their own shells, right?
No,
don't, yeah.
They find
Yeah.
the shell that fits them and then make that their home.
Yeah,
But they can grow up to 6 inches. That's a big one.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Big
there
crab.
are over 800 species of hermit crab.
Shut up.
That's no, and like the largest species of hermit crab, which I think is the coconut crab. I had it.
I want a coconut crab.
They're let's see, where is it?
They live in a coconut shell.
No, but
Probably
they're
in
like
Australia.
they're the size. They can grow to the size of a coconut, and they are like the largest invertebrate, the largest species of invertebrate like on the planet.
Yeah.
So-
hermit crabs are
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was
Wow.
interesting.
Well, so I guess like to answer the caller's question, which God, this is a good question.
Status.
Yeah, social status, absolutely. Because like, right, like if you're gonna be a big hermit crab in a big shell, that means you got to be a bad man or woman. Like if you're the biggest hermit crab around, then you're the baddest hermit crab around because you
Yeah,
had to
'cause
fight somebody to get that house.
I think that means you survived to get that
Mhm.
big. And so now, yeah, your status is like ultimate.
You had to eat a conch.
Well,
You
I
had to
could.
conquer it.
Oh wow.
Oh,
I couldn't find anything in my extensive hermit crab research that specifically said that it was a status symbol. It was just really that a bigger crab needs a bigger shell. And you're right that they do have to fight. So there could be some like implied, status over like if you have the big shell, then you had to like fight another big hermit crab for it probably.
I have to imagine though that like there's so much sea trash in the ocean right now that like hermit crabs have to like decorate. They have to be like grabbing stuff and like adorning their shelves, their shells with glitter and I don't know, coat
Well,
caps
one of
and
the
stuff, right?
one of the things that it was saying
Shiny
was that like
things.
Shiny things.
hermit crabs will mistake like a piece of ocean trash for a shell,
Yeah.
and they'll get in there and like they won't be able to get out of like a plastic thing or something, and then they
Oh, well,
will.
that's
sad.
just
This
tragic.
took a really sad turn. Yeah, I don't like that.
Well,
Are they? I was just
You-
wondering about the status thing. Like, would the other crabs know? Because as someone who's never owned a hermit crab or done any hermit crab related research,
hermit crabbery.
I just know the word hermit, and I assume that means you just live by yourself. So, are they social creatures, or
Do they even care
is it-
about status?
right? Are they just like, I'm here, got to find the best home so I can hide out inside all day away from
I'm
society?
voluntarily isolated.
Well, I think that the like
It's literally in my name.
the
I
hermit
bet
crab
hermit
is
crabs are like the best pandemic animals ever. They're like, we got this on lock.
6 feet away in my own shell.
they're they're not an antisocial species just because of that name.
Well, who named them then?
Hey, whose idea was that?
Humans.
I think the name comes from like they all have their own individual house. I believe that's
Oh.
where the name
I
comes
just think
from.
that'd be like if someone was like, "Hey, you're a big loser," and that's what your name is. Like,
Yeah, loser crabs.
loser
yeah,
crabs.
like, oh no. I don't know. I think it's like very inspiring. Like, it's like a nice metaphor for life that sometimes, you got to move on to a better home that suits you better,
Yeah.
a better personality. But I also have like some, Southern phrasism of like, don't get too big for your britches. So I don't know. I'm confounded by these little dudes. Their name doesn't make sense to me. Their home doesn't make sense to me. I'm confused that you had one in second grade in your classroom. Did you bring it home? Was it only in the classroom? What do hermit crabs eat?
Yeah, it was only in the classroom. Now we didn't. There was very little maintenance involved. I had to take the hamster home for a weekend. That was fun. We
I
didn't lose
always
him.
Yeah, I
Yay,
always
yeah.
found that so wild. I remember being in elementary school and other classrooms. I never got lucky enough to be in the classroom that had a class pet. But yeah, you just trusted like little 7-year-olds. You're like, okay, Billy, here's a guinea pig. Don't kill it and get it home on the bus safely. And your parents then have to take care of it. That's a
Well,
lot of
and
responsibility.
that's my
It
thing
is.
too. Is like, my parents were surprised. They're like, "What are you doing with this animal?" Because like this is like before email, right? So like
Right.
there were no emails going
There
home.
was no warning.
Like they gave me like a little letter the week before, and God knows I lost that letter on the bus, right?
No warning, just live
I never gave it to my
hamsters.
parents. So yeah, it just showed up. Ta-da! Here, because I'm the kid like walking through the hallway with like the hamster cage, on the bus. Like the fact that that thing made it is amazing to me.
Wow.
But here
We
we
didn't
are.
have pets. We had a caterpillar, the big old juicy,
What?
chunky
Ooh,
caterpillar that turned
yeah.
into a gorgeous butterfly.
Oh yeah.
But that was all.
Well, you asked about what do hermit crabs eat, and I know this isn't what they eat on the beach, but I did find a site that tells you what to feed your hermit crab at home.
Cigarette
and
butts.
it is-
And, yeah.
it is
Aw.
like this is
Sweet.
I think this is a better diet than I eat. High quality commercial hermit crab food, recommended vegetables, spinach, carrots, and romaine lettuce, and non-citrus fruits such as mangoes, coconut, and papaya as treats. Nuts, seaweed, brine shrimp, and fish flakes can also be offered, as well as keratin and calcium supplements. So you can give your hermit crab nuts for a treat. You got to give him salads. It says to like feed him spinach and carrots and romaine, like it's a salad.
Yeah, I think they eat a lot of sea greens
Okay.
in nature on
Yeah.
their own, not in a
Well,
Nuts.
so one of the really interesting things that I found was that like regarding shells. So like as hermit crabs, to kind of get back to the question about like the bigger shell, like because hermit crabs as they're growing have to switch shells, and so sometimes, as we mentioned earlier,
They're naked.
well, sometimes they're fighting over a shell, right? So like when a hermit crab dies, it sends out like a biological signal that kind of like other hermit crabs pick up on, and they will go compete for that. Yeah, they go compete for that shell. There's a signal that gets sent out that's like they know that now there's an empty shell, and so sometimes they'll go fight to the death over that shell.
just
But
like humans.
There was also a
In New York, it's like when somebody dies in their apartment, they're like, "I'm gonna get that. It's rent controlled."
well, there's also like several species of hermit crabs where they've created kind of like a like a queue. So like if a hermit crab dies and another hermit crab shows up and is like and gets him out and is like, oh, I'm gonna get this shell, and he gets in the shell and the shell is too big for him or too small for him, he will stay there by the shell and basically like put out the vibe, and so other hermit crabs will show up and he'll be like, they'll kind of all try out the shell, and like if it's not their size, they'll wait around and like let other hermit crabs like hey guys, we got a shell. They're basically like, so you'll have
It's like the sisterhood of the traveling pants, man.
Look
Hey,
at my
everybody gets
shell.
to try them on.
You'll end
Doesn't
up-
fit me.
you'll end up with like 5 hermit crabs who have tried out this shell, and they're just like hanging on to it, and they're like, hey guys, we got a shell here. There's a shell here. Is anybody a size 32? Size 32. There's
Dude,
a little
when I
extra
was-
room. A little
When
extra
I
room
was
to grow.
little, like also when I was 7, I had to go like to the Dillards with my mom, my grandmother, and my sister, and that's exactly what it was like. Hey, I found this cute pair of pants. Doesn't fit me, but you should try them on. Oh no, here. Like that was my life. Like observing that. That is. So what I'm hearing you say is that all hermit crabs are Southern women.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, that's
I'm
not what
canceled now.
That's not what I said.
That's what I heard you
No,
say.
that's what you said. That's what we heard.
Good
Okay.
housekeeping in your shell. Yeah.
Good housekeeping.
Yeah,
Well, like
Southern
the first.
living.
So the first part of the question was, is it a status symbol? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it more depends on like what the shell looks like than, if it's just large. I mean, I think you can have a very beautiful shell, that you found, maybe like an exotic shell that a hermit crab was really lucky, some
Yeah.
pearlescent.
See, that's
I don't know.
interesting.
I
Like,
don't
like for you, it's all about like the fittings and the fixtures, right? You don't
Well, have
want
you
a
guys-
4-bedroom. You would rather have
Right.
like
Have you
hardwood
guys
floors.
seen Moana, the Disney class, modern classic?
Yeah.
Because there's a crab character and he sings a show-stopping number called Shiny, where he talks about things just being shiny. And I really felt like I could relate to that. I really feel like I was seeing myself represented on screen with this large crab played by one of the voices of Flight of the Conchords. But he was all about, collecting shiny stuff and making it just, making his little den as beautiful as possible.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I can
It was
relate to that.
Jermaine. It
I
was
would want a
Jermaine.
shiny, pretty glittery shell. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I understand.
Well, so
Customization.
okay, that brings us kind of to the second nice segue, Kelsey. That brings kind of the second part of the question, which is like, it's been too long since we played it now, but like, what kind of domicile would they have if they had like a bit, assuming that it's a status symbol, they got like a real sweet setup that like a big hermit crab with a big hermit crab house, like. What is that setup?
We're moving into like SpongeBob territory now.
Dude,
So
I
they're
want
like
to see a
decorating
hermit
the house.
crab. I want to see a hermit crab show up, like just roll up into the room with like a 3-liter Mountain Dew bottle and be like, "Here we go, guys. This is my home. I live here now. Say something."
Yeah.
Welcome. Do they welcome other hermit crabs into their home for like a nice fancy dinner?
No, they don't do
They're
that. That's
hermits.
where the hermit, yeah.
Hmm.
Apparently
Do they
they're
have a
nice,
place to
but
congregate for nice fancy dinners?
I would say probably the larger ones do.
like a hermit
Yeah.
crab club that they all
have a
go
den.
to. And
The
you
crab
check your shell
club.
at the door.
Yeah, the crab club.
Yeah, it's a big shell, and you leave your individual shell at the door.
Mhm.
And there's like a bouncer. There's a bouncer.
Check
crab.
your
the-
shell at the door.
One of those coconut crabs, one of the big ones, is like the bouncer, and he's like, "Hey."
Yeah.
I mean, it could be
The-
a she as well. There's nothing that states that women can't be bouncers.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
Especially underwater.
Where's
yeah.
your
I mean, have
invite?
you ever seen Little Mermaid? Ursula
Yeah.
is like the, original underwater
Yeah.
bouncer.
It's so true.
Yeah.
She has eels doing her bidding.
Yeah.
I just think like this is
Seahorses are often guards, and they're male and female.
and they're not even horses.
What? But it's right there in the name, Kelsey.
I'm telling you, today, if I had to learn about hermit crabs not being hermits, you have to learn about seahorses not being horses.
Dang, man. Okay, well, how about this? How about let's maybe go around, because we haven't gone around the circle yet, which I love to do. We all know I love going around the circle. And like, I would be interested in what everybody thinks that maybe the top accommodations that a hermit crab would want. Like, do they want granite countertops? Like, imagine that you go into a hermit crab den, and it is one of these like larger than it appears on the outside things.
Does it have a media room or a man cave?
Yeah. What are they? What are they?
Man cave.
What are
Yeah.
they prioritizing in this hermit crab den?
Well, I think music is important underwater, as
Okay.
we all learned from Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have to have a music room. They have to.
Okay, music
Yeah.
room.
It's
What's
funny,
in
I
this
was gonna say the
music
same
room?
thing, right? Because like
Mm.
I have to imagine that like a shell has great acoustics. So
Yeah.
I have to
yeah.
imagine
Shell
those are-
acoustics.
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
What's it like? What is in this media room? Are they like record? Is it like a record room? Is it like some dude?
Well, I mean,
who's
it's
telling you
everything
about-
that's found under the sea. So all their music is made from found objects under the sea. So
A lot
they
of
probably
cassettes.
A lot
Yeah.
of cassettes. Do you think that this hermit crab is one of those like 58-year-old dudes who's telling you about how much better analog is than digital? And
Dude,
I mean-
I'm imagining like I was having that conversation in my head of two hermit crabs fighting over the fact that you can or you can't hear the difference between vinyl and digital.
These are NPR crabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, Liam, they
Yeah.
sound the same.
I think they would have a wine cellar too, because think about how many bottles are just floating around. That's like every movie, there's messages in a bottle. So maybe they actually have a library.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it would be a
Flash
library more than
wine
anything.
cellar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can repurpose the bottles and then all the notes, that would be most exciting for me as a hermit crab. Think about all the hot gossip you'd get to read that no one else
Yeah.
gets to read.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all maps. Like maybe it's a map room. Like yeah, you go in there and there's like a big globe and a map room.
So we are firmly setting this hermit crab up as like a.
This is a fancy hermit crab.
This is a super dad.
This
He's
is like
got-
the hermit crab that lives in like, I don't know, Batman's lair or something, like
yeah, but wears New Balances. Yeah, exactly.
It's like your friend's dad who's like, "Do you want to see my map room?" And you're like, "You have a map room?"
What does that mean?
No, Mr. Perdicaris.
Mhm.
Okay, come to my map room.
Come see my map room. These are all analog maps, not none of this fancy digital crap that these kids have these days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Google
Yeah, he has
Maps.
a drafting table.
Oh,
I think they'd
yes.
have to have something like, I'm thinking something specifically like for their claws, you know? So like maybe like a closet with a lot of mittens or
A closet? Did you say a
Claws.
closet?
Maybe I
Claws-
did.
a
Maybe I
closet.
did.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
I just think, you know, that's you got to protect what you got. You know, you got 2 big claws and people are always trying to eat them.
Yeah, wait,
Right.
You're not trying to eat crab claws at every
hermit
day of
crab
your life?
claws?
I don't know about hermit crab claws. They'd be like this big.
Hey, man, I eat them in a pinch.
Little clarified
I'm saying?
ball.
God,
Come on.
yeah, no.
Put a little clarified butter on it. Nobody gonna know the difference, you know?
I'm
Right.
gonna edit in a pinch right out.
Yeah, that's going away, isn't it? Okay, yeah, I figured.
I think that they would have like a hot tub area, but the tub would just be filled with air.
Why? I need you to explain that one a little bit better.
No,
I understand. I understand what you're getting at because humans like to have hot tubs where we
Doesn't that
usually
make
live
them
in air.
buoyant,
Want to get into a
though?
hot tub, so they live in water, but they want to
Yeah.
get into air. I get you. I
That
get
one
you.
was stupid. Let's scratch
Like a
Yeah.
that
bubble
one.
shower. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Ooh, a bubble shower sounds luxurious.
Dude, I want
Wait,
one of
what's-
those in
I want a
my
bubble
house.
shower.
I do like that the
I want a map room
caller-
too, but I
the
also wear New
caller made
Balances.
sure to mention that the fancy shell was like a 4-bedroom on the beach. Like,
4-bedroom
where else
on
are
the
they gonna
beach.
live?
In Miss Everson's second grade
I was
classroom.
gonna say that crab was probably so depressed. If
Yeah.
I had a
Oh.
hermit crab not on the beach, I would have to play at wave sounds so that could feel.
Yeah.
Or just
Oh,
get up
yeah.
every morning and just like lean over and be like,
I mean, they live in a shell. All they hear is wave sounds.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
True.
That's
do hermit
true.
crabs have
Wait,
ears?
that was my
Mhm.
question.
George, you did the research. Do hermit
They have
crabs
to be.
have-
I
Well,
mean,
how
I
do-
feel like
yeah.
they
Well, I
feel
mean-
vibration. They definitely feel
So
vibration.
I feel like the music room would be wasted if they didn't have ears. So yeah, they got ears.
It's all about
Obviously,
vibes.
yeah.
man.
For the
I
sake of
mean,
this
you
argument,
don't
yes.
need to hear. You don't need ears to hear music.
Mm.
About
I
vibration.
think that I
baby.
think that I think that they would also prioritize like having a really nice coffee station in this house. Like there's a whole area for coffee.
I feel like you're just making this crab you.
Their little claws holding a
The-
mug, and
I
just,
think that
Yeah.
he is, injecting his own.
oh, it'd be so
wants
cute.
in, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're fantasizing about a 4-bedroom on the beach. The
Crab
hermit,
coffee.
this hypothetical hermit crab is
Mhm.
is living in it. I'm gonna give it a coffee room.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
a
I feel
whole-
like
can we make
you
an espresso room? How
Yeah,
about
I was
that?
gonna say,
Yeah.
George, you always use those little espresso mugs. That are
Oh,
so
wait.
small.
These
Oh
right
my
here?
gosh. You could definitely fit a hermit crab in
The
that.
fanciest
Yeah.
espresso mugs.
Oh
Dude,
man, there'd be a whole
there's
coffee
got to
house.
be some research going on somewhere about like the effects of caffeine on hermit crabs. There's
Hold
got to
on,
be
let me
a
Google
scholarly
this.
Let's
paper
just start
somewhere.
it now.
I love
About-
the story of how coffee was found with the sheep eating the coffee
With
beans.
with hermit crabs eating the coffee beans and they're jumping in Ethiopia, yeah, on the beach.
They become jumping crabs.
This is a
Uh,
historically accurate podcast.
So,
That's exactly
so
right.
I did find a Reddit post where this is what somebody says on Reddit. When I was a child, we spent summers in the Bahamas. Every morning we would throw coffee grounds off the front porch and the hermit crabs would go crazy trying to race to the grounds and eat them. Does anyone give their crabs coffee grounds? And the answers are like, no, stupid.
Wanted to
Just
wake
what
'em
we
up.
need, some caffeinated crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, what are you trying to do? Like hasten the apocalypse? I don't want that, man. I don't want like caffeinated crabs.
You just wake up one day, like in your house, far, far from the beach, and you look out in your yard, and there's just like all these super caffeinated hermit crabs, and you're like, how did they get over shit?
Oh god, lock the doors.
I just feel like they would be out like in the ocean, all learning like a synchronized swimming routine, and it would be very cute.
Oh, speaking of being
No.
in the ocean, Kelsey, did you know that there are two like subspecies of hermit crab.
I thought there were 800.
Surprisingly, I did
there's
not
800, there's
know that.
800 different species, but they're divided into two segments, one of which basically lives on the land at the beach, one of which is completely aquatic, so they live their entire lives underwater. They don't have to live on a beach. They can live way out at sea or whatever.
And the third one that lives its entire life in a gift shop.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
Right.
the third
But
one
they're
can
painted
only,
real pretty, so they've
can
got that
only
going for
exist
them.
in a gift shop. So like all
Yeah,
of those,
that one knows that if you paid more than $9.99 for your flip-flops, you got ripped off.
They paint the price tag onto the shell, and the crab's just like 99 cents.
You know how hard I worked for that?
Yeah.
I literally had to kill a man for this. Well, another crab.
Yeah.
But,
He's like, I'm getting out of this shell. 99 cents, my ass.
but like you could
Go to the
take
$3.99 bin.
you could take those like painted hermit crab shells and just go dump them at the beach, and a week later they'd all be full of hermit crabs.
Dude, I feel like that's a really great marketing technique. Aaron, we should just take a bunch of shells and paint the Yellowbird logo on them and toss them out on the beach, and then like the hermit crabs would just be walking billboards for us.
Free
That sounds like a
marketing.
lot of work.
Yeah, but think about the return, Aaron. Like you're thinking about the
Okay, let's
cost.
hire
You're
all
not
the
thinking about the
interns.
value.
Mhm.
Hire all the interns. Let's paint some shells, y'all.
Yep. And when
All right.
people get stranded on the ocean, and the mind is always the first to go when you're waiting for help to get there. And if you saw a little shell with a little yellowbird on it, that could really,
Give you hope.
yeah,
Yeah.
give you hope of a spicy future.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Well, I think
I'm
that we
inspired.
Yeah, let's do it. We can make like a vinyl wrap, and we kind of like shrink wrap a bunch of shells
I
for
think
more
yeah.
ocean trash.
this is the least environmentally friendly idea.
This is a marketing podcast.
Would it wear off in the water though?
There are no bad ideas, George.
There are.
It's
I
gotta
don't
be
know.
Oh, okay. So-
water-friendly paint.
I don't know who said that. Where did that come from?
Miss
There are no
Efferson's
bad-
second grade class.
Oh man.
Yeah.
A little crabby told me.
She taught me a lot of stuff, man.
Well, I think let's distill our learnings from today.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh
The-
wow,
the
there's
question-
a lot to go over.
The question was that hermit crabs have different sized shells. Do the bigger shells mean that it's just a bigger crab? Yes. Does it mean that they have a higher status?
Also, yes.
Of
Sure.
course. Bigger is better, and we all know that. Um, the next
50.
the next part of
Size
the
does matter. Size matters.
the
Oh, sure.
next part of the question was what type of beach mansion do these fancy high status giant hermit crabs have? They've got
They're audiophiles.
they've
for
got
sure.
their audio files. They got a record room,
Map
they-
rooms.
a map room. They've got a
An
wine
espresso room?
cellar. Wait, did we say a wine
Closet.
cellar, a wine closet, a wine library?
You
What
know,
is
Closet.
if it's one of the the shells that spirals, then at what point in the spiral does the wine cellar exist?
Ooh.
The very back,
Yeah,
Anywhere
for
can
safety.
be a wine cellar.
You don't want the kids to get into it, so yeah, you gotta keep
All
it
the
back
way
there.
We've got a
Yeah.
wine cellar. We've got a coffee room, and I think that's it. I think that we've
Crabs are fancy.
really cracked this one wide open.
There he is.
Any other little tidbits about hermit crabs that we want to hit before
Do
we?
we want to make up?
Because I don't know if we'll ever get another hermit crab question again.
No, I'm liking the idea of just feeding your hermit crab organic spinach. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let that one go.
If you got a hermit crab, give it a salad.
If you feed it spirulina, will it turn like pretty green color?
Oh, probably.
I hope so. I'm gonna do that.
We have another episode
check
that's all
back in
about
with you guys
spirulina.
Spirulina.
Do we?
Is that how you say it?
Spirulina.
Spirulina.
Sprinkle.
Spirulina.
Yeah, you got it, Grandma.
Yeah, Well, that's been our episode for today.
Hooray!
Hey, Kelsey, thank you so much for being our guest today.
You're so welcome.
Hey,
it was
do you-
my cloner.
Always a pleasure.
Do you
having
think that we could?
Cloner.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Oh,
but-
should we end this with a ye claw?
A what? Oh God, no! You guys are cut off. Hold on. Can I remotely turn off your microphone? Thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Please send your questions to 855-700-BIRD. We will embrace them. You can text them. You can call us. We love it when you call us because we just love to hear your voices. You know, we're lonely. We're little hermit crabs. We want to hear your voices. Until next time, make sure you hug your dogs, hug your cats, and stay spicy out there, y'all. Bye-bye.
E-claw.
Call us on your shell phone.
Ooh,
Ah.
there it is.